All right. Well, before too long here, we'll see if we get this response back from Michael, and then we can get started. All right. Does anyone else have any exciting stories or exciting moments in their life recently? Hey, here's Michael.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Cool.
All right. Well, I guess we can go ahead and get started. You know, we definitely expected more people to show up, but I don't know, people were reminded about it just earlier today. It's easy to forget something like this, but you know, welcome to the general meeting. A few things to go over and some, you know, things to think about for the future and the spring semester. So, John, I know you put this icebreaker together, so do you want to?
Yeah, so let's see. I know we have at least one new face. Shazia, do you want to kind of introduce yourself, and then we can have everyone else introduce themselves?
Hi, I'm Shazia. I'm a sophomore, and I'm from Lincoln, so it's nice to meet all of you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's nice to meet you too.
So then I'll go, I guess. I'm John. I'm also a sophomore, and I'm from Aurora.
Yeah.
My name is Michael. I'm a senior, and I'm from Scottsbluff. You guys know where that is.
Absolutely.
Yep.
My name's Joel, and I'm from Blair. I'm a sophomore too. I don't know. MJ, Nick, Carly, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm Nick. I'm a sophomore from Omaha. I'm Joel.
Hi, I'm Carly. I'm a freshman from Bellevue.
I'm MJ. I'm a senior from Rogers, Minnesota. And I know that nobody else gave this information, but I'm sure like name and year isn't a lot, I guess, but I'm a math and sports media and communications major. And I guess my role on the team is a lot of like media and public relations type stuff.
Awesome. Oh, cool. We got Henderson as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Henderson, we're just introducing ourselves, saying name, where we're from, and what year we are. If you want to.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Then, hi everyone. I'm Henderson Gentione. I'm military, so I'm from a lot of places, but I've been living in Nebraska for the past 4 years, and before then I lived on Katterbach, which was a military base in Ansbach, Germany. I am a junior electrical engineering major.
Absolutely.
Cool.
All right.
So I was looking for icebreakers, and I found this video. I don't know, Joel, if you want to play it. It's just like a loop, but I think it'd be interesting to get you guys' thoughts, since we're all engineers here, on like kind of the physics of baguette and which one do you think it would move as?
Oh, the second one's just chaotic.
Mhm.
Yeah, the second one.
Gallop.
See, I would almost think number one, because I don't see it moving that much without breaking, you know? Or maybe number three.
I think maybe one if it was moist. Or I guess a lot of these would be, I don't know, just the kind of slug motion would make me assume that it's like 50% water.
Yeah, true.
And then
Looks
number
like a
three,
bowl.
definitely if it was stale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a practicality standpoint, I think I'm gonna have to go with 3.
3. All right. It also doesn't really say how it's being propelled, which I think would be a big point. Like if there's just someone like flipping end over end, then I would also say 3. But if it's like if it has its own mind and or muscles inside, I'm not sure how that would work, but
You know, baguettes being baguettes.
these are the important questions for us to answer.
As engineers.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
This is why I go to school. All right.
All right. Well, moving on from the icebreaker, it goes here. We have some patches and stuff to go over, and MJ, if you wanted to go ahead here. I know I moved some slides around at the last minute, but
Yeah, so for the patches, for anyone who doesn't remember, the decision, like the design we finalized was the diamond one on the left. And we're going to be ordering patches tonight, actually, I think. And I believe the way we're doing it is something like $5, $5 to $7 per patch. I don't 100% remember. And yeah, basically, if you want to buy one, you can. They're going to be iron on. And I know that initially when the idea was introduced, it was for like a jacket. And depending on the material of the jacket, the iron on situation is going to be a little dicey. So you can just sew them as well. And then,
Sorry.
not
I was gonna
necessarily,
ask
I
if there's
guess.
some like order form or something, or like how do we?
Yeah, so I'll just make a spreadsheet on like Google Sheets or something and send it out. And then not, I guess, patches related, but merch related is you want to get team, I guess, kind of uniforms, either like a t-shirt or a polo or something like that with the logo on it. And I guess we just wanted to hear everyone's opinions on it. Would you guys rather have a t-shirt for, because ideally we'd be wearing these things at like events where we give presentations or like where we have booths set up or we're volunteering. And I know that a polo can be a little stuffy, and personally I hate them. But what do people think? Would we rather have a little bit more formal wear, or would we rather just go with some t-shirts? Or both?
Is it a bit over the top to ask if both are an option?
No, not at
'Cause
all. Both are definitely an option.
Okay, because I figure one, the t-shirts are really good for like, if it doesn't have to be formal, but like if we're like with the PDR, a polo would be very preferable if we were in that sort of situation. So, but also I don't want to be like, yeah, everyone has to pay $50 now to get 2 shirts. So I don't know if that's too much to ask, but I think both would be pretty cool.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and the website that I was looking at, it would not be $50 for 2 shirts. It would be more like 25.
Oh, sick. Okay, yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
that's not bad.
That's dope. Yeah.
Especially if we're able to use some club funds to initially purchase them and then sell them to the members at a lower price.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure out a way around that. I kind of agree with that. I definitely prefer the polo if we're talking in general, but I don't know. I know, Shazia, it looked like you unmuted yourself. Do you have any thoughts on it?
I was just gonna say I'm fine with either.
Okay.
I'm good with either. I would like both.
Cool.
Absolutely.
It looks like Nick in the chat said he'd also be good with either one.
Yeah. I guess Henderson, other Nick, and Carly, do you guys have any thoughts?
I think both are fine. I don't really care.
Yeah, same for me.
Not really preference.
Sounds good. All right. Well, anything else for the slide, MJ?
Nope.
All right. Yeah, and then you're gonna give a rundown on all this stuff, I guess.
Yeah. So there's basically 4 different types of events that we're kind of looking into doing. Conferences, meaning like educational conferences. Volunteering will be stuff like with the Children's Museum, Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day, and like with the Boys and Girls Club. And the event that the university puts on every year that I can't remember the name of, something big red something because duh. But yeah, and then booth events, this is more vague. It can be something like Free Shit Sunday, or I know that there's one in Grand Island that our advisors want us to do in the spring. And like a lot of competitions or like conferences, like if we're not presenting at them, we might still be able to set up a booth. So that would be where the most variance would come in terms of like what we have set up. And then the club hosted events is COVID permitting. We're hoping to have some type of camp this summer for I don't know, a lot of the kids that are either interested in joining the Big Red Sat team or are already on it and are jazzed to do something in person, not meet over Zoom. And yeah, does anybody have any questions about any of this stuff?
I don't have a question,
No?
but I think the thing you're referring to in Grand Island, that's the NASA downlink, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, different kids and even us will get to talk with some astronauts on the International Space Station for, I don't know, like 20 or 40 minutes. Just a super cool thing. And for some little place in Nebraska to select it like that, it's really cool. Just isn't directly through us, but we get to help out with it if we want. All right.
And I'll also be sending out a spreadsheet of this stuff that we have already kind of looked into. If you go over it, or if there's anything you can think of right now that you're like, oh my gosh, we should definitely do this, definitely message me either on Slack or in the chat right now, and I can look into it for sure.
Absolutely. All right. Well, moving forward here.
Okay, so for the Big Red Sat website, which is bigredsatellite.org, I've been working on it kind of sporadically. I'm hoping to have it all kind of finished up by Christmas-ish. And then, so the next phase is going to be a lot of the more interactive stuff, which is going to be making like a workbook and educational videos. I want to be able to engage, I don't know, people of all ages as much as we possibly can. So for the educational videos, we would do it on one topic and then just like do a series of videos that get a little bit more complex. And for the workbook, I'm actually stealing this idea from the Florida team that we're working with on the CubeSat design. They came out with this really cool, like printable, it had like coloring sheets and word finds and stuff like that. And I thought it was super decent. So we're going to set up something like that too. Just talking about like STEM and general stuff like that. And then, so the documentary is also kind of about, not kind of, it is about the CubeSat, like just, fingers crossed being Nebraska's first team to launch a CubeSat, and just kind of our process of the hot mess that is our org chart, and just working together, over Zoom, and having these 3 levels of kind of participation and it's just, yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. This, uh, the other leads, Joel, John, and Michael, don't really have a choice. They are going to be in a lot of documentary stuff, so sucks to suck. But if anyone else is like really against, like, I do not want to be on camera, I do not want to be interviewed, anything like that, definitely let me know. So that, like, in the storyboarding process, I don't include you for any shots. Yeah. Um, and then filming for that will start more once we're in person again. It'll be a lot of like build days and just like little snippets of in-person meetings and stuff like that. I probably won't have the camera running the entire time because I do not have the energy to sort through all that just empty footage. And then, yeah, so I wanted to open it up to anyone else who's interested in, you know, marketing or any of this kind of stuff. There's a lot of like little aspects that aren't necessarily top priority that like for me to get done that I still would like to get done. So if you have any interest in, you know, learning how to use Adobe After Effects, or making like an opening graphics card or animation for all of our videos, or making like, you know, doing audio recordings for the website using Audition, little videos and stuff like that, I would absolutely love to, you know, help people out. I can share my knowledge. It's not, you know, everything, but I use these softwares pretty regularly, so I can definitely try to answer any questions that you might have. And yeah, never be shy. If you're interested in this stuff, it's pretty much just me. So I'm definitely looking for any help I can get. And then, oh yeah, for the educational videos, if there's anything that you're like, yes, I have this nailed, I am the master of freaking CAD, or anything like that, then, you know, please let me know and we can schedule a time for you to make a video for the website. I think that's everything.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you, MJ. So just on to some more general aerospace club meeting news. Right now, the officer team is kind of going through a leadership restructuring meetings. Those are in progress over break. Hopefully that should, you know, make the club run a little bit smoother, allow us to get some more sponsors, stuff like that. In general, the NASA Nebraska grants have been awarded. You all filled out those forms really fast, and we're actually the first team to get all of ours filled out, so we can brag to all the other teams about that. I see Andrew's on the call. But yeah, so we got $7,000 to that NASA Nebraska grant. The SolidWorks certification, I believe Aaron got messaged by SolidWorks saying if people had experience with SolidWorks, they can take one of those exams, and that's to the end of the year, isn't it? That they can take an exam and become certified in SolidWorks.
Yeah.
So if you have some experience in SolidWorks and, you know, want to get certified, which looks great on a resume, go ahead and look into that. And if you guys need any help with that, I know John has a bit of experience with that. And if not, there's other aerospace members who are more than happy to help as well.
I think it's like a 3-hour exam. I haven't taken it yet, but I've looked at it a little bit.
So that's something that I thought it would be, but no, that's cool stuff. And last but not least, we're kind of at that time of the year where we're, you know, looking forward to make changes to the club if we need it. And so there is a feedback survey. If you have any thoughts, comments, please leave them in that feedback survey. It really matters to the club to make sure that we're headed in the right direction and that we are, you know, fulfilling the needs and the wants of the members. If you want to see anything in the club happen in the future, or have seen something that you don't want to have happen anymore, please let us know. It's very important for the future of the club as well. Anyone have anything else to add for this? I know I forget general club stuff all the time. No, sounds good. All right, so on to progress. What's happened since our last general meeting? For the most part, the Big Red Sat team every Saturday has been meeting. They've been, learning some Python stuff, going through some Python courses. I think they've been enjoying it, even if they've been struggling a little bit. It's how it goes when you first learn how to program. But besides that, the NASA CubeSat Launch Initiative, that proposal got submitted just yesterday officially, which was a lot of work, mainly just on the leads because we don't want to have a bunch of different writing styles put in there, but we got that submitted, and it turned out really well. I don't know. Does anyone else have comments on that? John, Michael, or MJ? I don't know. Really kind of came together at the last minute, and we'll hear back April, maybe May, maybe August. Yeah. NASA's not the best at getting back to us on timely manner for these things, but that's okay. Being from Nebraska, no team has launched a CubeSat before out of Nebraska. We stand a good-ish chance of getting it, although it is a really competitive thing as well. And then, like I already said, the NASA Nebraska grant was awarded, and we were the first team. I'll mention that several times. But yeah, so we have some money to spend that we have to spend. I forget the exact day, but onto the current objectives, we'll see where we can spend that money. But actually, the other thing for the progress that we forgot to add on here recently, some of the work MJ has been leading with some of those like outreach videos and submitting videos to conferences. There's the COSPAR conference, which is a national satellite conference out of Australia, primarily an educational thing. And there's been some work done, and we made a little bit of a video and a presentation to submit to that conference, which is actually the second national conference that the team has presented at around this kind of idea of what we have coming on and building out of Nebraska. So props to MJ, props to everyone for putting it on that good work and first of all getting accepted to those conferences as well. But on to the current objectives. So things we need to be focused on, especially for this upcoming spring semester. Attending the Big Red Sat meetings every Saturday from 10 to noon. This past semester, when we were kind of just getting things started, it was just kind of something that was happening. You didn't have to be there. We definitely want to see as many faces there as we can going forward. As well, we have a separate Slack channel for interacting with the Big Red Sat, that middle school and high school team. We can get anyone on there that isn't on there already. And you guys should, if you're not on there already, maybe just send me a message on Slack and I can help you guys get set up with that. And then the other big thing, it kind of goes along with that, but the other big thing is the spring project, the high altitude balloon launch, just like we did this fall. But we're going to have a big emphasis this spring on testing hardware that's going to end up in this CubeSat. So the main thing there is the Global Star communication network, very similar to the Iridium SATCOM communication network that we had in there this past time, but just slightly different. But I don't know, John, do you have anything to say about the truss, or do you have a slide later on maybe?
There's a slide later on about it, yeah.
Sounds good. So we'll revisit that. But this past high-altitude balloon launch, we had 3 payloads, but we're moving that up to 6 payloads, so a little bit more space and a little bit, more. We can have more payloads to test more things on this high-altitude balloons. And right now, there are only 2 payloads that are accounted for that we need to test. That being the AXP communication, so direct line of sight RF, data communication, and then that Global Star satellite network communication as well. So there are 4 payloads open to ideas, and all of that but we do have to share those 4 slots with the Big Red Sat team, so the middle school and high school kids who are also going to be working on some CAN-SATs or just payloads. I don't think we're going to necessarily be limiting any of these payloads to the CAN size, but we do have money that we need to spend first off on CubeSat parts, but we do have a bit of money that maybe we don't need to spend directly right now on those CubeSat parts, that we can spend on some more expensive sensors, since in the past we were looking at some more expensive sensors and found that to be limiting. We don't have that limiting factor, so we can purchase some more expensive sensors if we find a reason to do that. Yeah, that's definitely just like getting started here. In the next month, hopefully we're going to start filling out those like 4 payloads, what those ideals will be, and starting on that planning process. But moving forward.
Oh, is
Jeff,
that not updated? I must
I'm
have.
not
I filled
sure.
it on my phone. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay. Well, so our 2 objectives for mechanical are to teach the kids CAD and to build the truss. So for the CAD side of things, since programs like Inventor and SolidWorks are kind of complicated to learn and also really expensive, I found a website called Tinkercad that is not at all advanced, but it's basically just uses shapes. And so I think we can get the kids a good introduction to some of the fundamentals of CAD with that, like extruding and binding things together. So I think we'll talk about that more in the future. But I guess just for now, be thinking about any possible challenges that you can do for that, like the Python challenges that Joel made, where he has fun little challenges for the kids to complete, similar to that, just with CAD. So then our second objective is to build the trust by February. And I think everybody here is on the mechanical, that's on the mechanical team is on the mechanical Trello, right? Or if you're not, I can send you the link if you just message me in Slack. But it's on the Trello or the exact deadlines, but basically what we have to do is make a parts list and bill of materials so we can get things ordered, because that's probably going to take a long time. And hopefully we can do that by Christmas. Then after we get everything ordered, we need to make CAD models for like all the sensors and any of the plastic parts that we need to make so we can print those. That I set a tentative date of like January 17th. And then once we have all that made on January 17th, then we can use the last couple weeks before February to assemble and test all the components of the truss. So with that, with making the parts list and bill of materials, it'd be great to do that as soon as possible. I think everyone on the mechanical team is here now, so I want to hear from you guys. Would our Saturday at 4 still be a good time to have a meeting this week? I guess I should ask, is there anyone for whom Saturday at 4 does not work?
It works for me. Yeah, sorry.
You do Saturday, but I think you do Sunday. All right. How about Sunday? Would Sunday be a conflict for anybody?
Maybe we can send out just a quick when to meet.
Yeah, I can. I'll do that too. Yeah, but I just want to have a meeting sometime this weekend or something. It shouldn't be super long, but just to kind of finalize the hexagon as the bestagon payload, and then we can order things. I
Absolutely.
think that's all.
All right. Well, I believe, Mikey, you have some stuff to go over for a new sub team that we have starting up.
After seeing yours' slides, I realized mine are very overdone, but that's fine. So starting this semester, we're going to have a special system sub team to kind of release some of the work off of the mechanical and the electrical team, but also to kind of deal with some tasks that don't fit neatly under the title of electrical or mechanical. In some of the examples I have given here, that covers consumer off-the-shelf parts, a GPS system or a thermal control system. That's not obviously a full list. This, like I have the next bullet point, everything we're going to be covering as a sub team is definitely going to change a lot from project to project. Like even just what the covers between the Big Red Satellite project and the High Altitude Balloon project, it's way different. So that will be changing from project to project. But the primary goal of the special systems is to take responsibility for tasks that don't really fall into electrical or mechanical. So it's going to mix of both essentially. If you want next slide, Joel.
Absolutely.
For the upcoming HAB project, we're going to take ownership of, well, Joel and I were talking about this, so I don't know if this is the final plan, but the special systems sub-team will take ownership of at least one payload. We'll also cover the COTS, which is again the consumer off the shelf, the thermal control systems, should that be necessary, but it might not be, and then possibly others. Of course, we're going to have to talk a lot with electrical about that, because they're the ones who our team is going to kind of be a little bit murkier with. So beyond what I have listed here, the future systems, like everything is yet to be determined still, I guess is what I'm saying. Next slide, Joel.
Absolutely.
For the Big Red Satellite project, we're going to be taking care of the research regarding risk reduction with respect to the solar panel payloads. We also have research with respect to the perovskites, and then we're going to work really hard to meet the dates and the goals regarding these things that we have outlined in the proposal. Again, there might be more work that this sub-team will cover in the future, but that is still yet to be determined. But yeah. For meetings during the spring semester, just like electrical and mechanical will be once a week. The exact time and day in that week will be determined, by everyone's schedule. Probably take place over Zoom unless everyone decides they want to meet in person in the classroom, which, COVID permitting, obviously have to wear a mask, 6 foot social distancing. We'll make it work if we want to meet in person, but we'll probably do it over Zoom. And then we will have meeting minutes recorded, which will just be in a folder that I have on the Google Drive. Next slide, Joel. And then we also have a schedule going forward that we have for the high altitude balloon project. We don't have this yet have the schedule for the Big Red Satellite project, because we have to discuss that a bit further for exactly what subteam is going to be covering what. But yeah, the schedule can also be found online on the AXP Google Drive as that kind of path. If you see the special systems, it's pretty clear how to get there. But yeah. So again, this sub team is new for this semester to kind of take some of the work off the shoulders of the electrical and mechanical teams. And personally, it's more the work I prefer, where you're doing a bit of both. If you like coding, but you also want to build something physical that isn't just on a circuit board, that's kind of where we're sitting with this sub team. So if there's anyone who's interested in deciding that they want to be on this sub team now, then you can either, I guess, speak up now, send a message in the chat, or just PM me through Slack. But yeah, so a lot more about this will be decided and better ironed out, in the coming days and weeks, because again, this is new for this semester. But yeah, that's kind of my presentation on what the special system sub-team is going to be like. If anyone has any questions, obviously, then I can answer those too.
Absolutely. I certainly am excited for the special system sub-team to get started, and I definitely think I might spend some time on that team as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. I mean, anyone's open to join that team, right? Like anyone can.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone wants to, join the sub team, I'm not going to, you can join whichever team you want to join. So.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
And especially for this team, maybe recruiting like some chemists or chemical engineers for that perovskite stuff we'll have to do in the future.
Perovskites, absolutely.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Michael. That was a very good presentation and description on special systems. It'll be exciting going forward.
I hope so. Thank you.
Absolutely. And with that, going forward, this is pretty much just all we have to cover at today's meeting, I believe. But keep your eye out for any sort of sponsorship opportunity you see, any sort of company that you think that we should connect with. can go ahead and message MJ or I especially, and we'll add that to our list of our short list of things that we have to do, of course, as well as outreach opportunities. We're always looking to do that, as well as the cool things that we want to fly in space on a high altitude balloon, and just those ideas for the high altitude balloon payloads, because we're gonna ideally, I think we need to talk more about the schedule to really nail down those solid dates. But ideally, I think we want to try and have, before the semester starts, each one of those different payloads decided for sure. And we can go ahead and, work on those during the semester. And last, certainly not least, try to attend those Big Red Sat meetings every Saturday from 10 to noon, just so we all stay up to date. And the thing with those meetings, we'll have to, I guess typically we have some like general stuff that we talk about, and if we're working with the kids, then we'll do some like actual, teaching after that, or an activity, just to stay updated. We might, just record the first little bit for an agenda, and if people aren't able to, or not an agenda, just like a brief update, and post those in the AXP General Slack, just so people are staying updated. We'll have to figure out the best way, and if you guys have any suggestions for that, please reach out and let us know. Yeah, with that, is there any other comments that anyone has before we kind of wrap up today? Yes, no, maybe so. All right.
I don't know. I don't remember if you mentioned this like at the beginning of the meeting, but what's our schedule going to look like for AXP meetings going forward?
Yeah, so at least for winter break, right now we have this general meeting in December, and we have another general meeting planned for January. But then once the semester starts back up again, we'll resume with our more normal schedule of having like one general meeting per week, as well as having our sub-team meetings, usually one per week, but more or less depending on what we're working on, of course. And yeah, exact meeting times definitely not figured out yet, because everyone's busy and has schedules that they don't know yet, and all of that good stuff. Yeah. Well, are we good to wrap up then? Yes, sounds good.
I think so.
All right, well, stop sharing. And I'm gonna stop recording.